James Gunn. And we are live.
Outstanding.
Welcome back, lads.
Welcome back.
Another impromptu one.
Yeah.
But we're back at the Green Dragon. And we've got a theme that we like to talk about today, which is, you may notice from the title, Meet the Family. Talk us through it, bro. While I find some royalty-free jazz.
Yeah, so we get some sounds on. So, number of pipes in Harry's house is a bit of a meme. So there's a lot of pipes, and I am starting to go down. I'm not quite within the city limits, but I'm definitely on the main road, on the ring road coming in. So, so both of us have got kind of what I would say are kind of our core go-to bits of hardware, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
I know. Obviously, like we've got some pipes which are useful for some particular occasions. So it might be that we're out, out and about, which means we want something that's going to be a little more portable, a little bit more durable. We've got pipes which are definitely sort of sit at home and relaxers.
Yeah.
We've got some that we don't really want going anywhere else other than like our bedrooms. Or living rooms or smoking places, right? So we've got our.
I do keep a pipe in my bedroom.
Got it. There's one in every room. There's one at Harry's for when I've forgotten a pipe, and I've got one down there. So look, we've got a lot of pipes. So tonight it's just going to be about us talking through some of our favourite hardware.
Yeah.
What they're good for, why we got them,
Yeah.
what made us fall in love with them, what makes them so unique. And so enjoyable, and why we come back to it, and also maybe a couple of blends that are kind of specifically or very good for that they handle.
Yeah, definitely.
And what we're smoking, bro, tonight, because it's whilst this is a pipe night for our pipe channel, you are very kindly brought some sticks round.
Yeah, so I got a little 5-pack. It was just a bit of a gamble on these diesel unholy cocktails, as they're called. There's just like a band around the foot, made at the AJ factory. It came in a 5-pack, and there's 2 left. So by my count, I've smoked 3 of them.
What kind of mathematical wizardry is this?
So I'm just gonna say off the bat, I smoked 3 of them. 2 I really enjoyed. 1 was not so good, but I think for a bundle stick, that's probably not bad. So hopefully, we'll see how it goes. How's your draw?
Good.
My draw's good. So yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. And I just thought we'd sample these sticks live, and that means that we haven't got a pipe in our mouth while we're talking about the pipes that we want to show off. Right. So yeah, let's light these up, man.
Let's do it. I'll get the old chat on as well. Let's see how these.
I'm trying to turn it.
See how the faithful are.
Yeah, we had this last time when we had to sign in.
Yeah.
It came up in another window, right?
Yeah.
I gotta say, whenever I light a cigar, just for a second, in my mind, I become James Gandolfini, Memory Eternal, and I hear God, Memory Eternal, and I hear Blue Moon by Alabama 3 in my eye.
So good.
Born in your bad time.
Right, I go in my cupboard of glory and actually get a couple of the old matches. Do it old school. Oh.
So, I don't know if I actually can't remember the component tobaccos of that, but straight off the first light, I get like a San Andres kind of chocolatiness.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
even on the dry draw.
Yeah,
a little bit
definitely. And it reminds me of the AJ Fernandez, Bella Artes Maduras.
Yeah. Right. Where you go?
Yeah. I do think the leaf is probably a touch young, but then again, I didn't rest it at all. And like I said, it's a bundle stick, so they're not going to come in aged or anything. But I don't think bad at all for the. Don't worry.
Delightful little smoke for the.
Yeah.
All right.
So welcome to the Smoke Lounge, boys. We're back at it again. We're burning leaf and making room notes, drinking corn liquor.
All good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. So what are we drinking?
It's Old Faithful Buffy tea tonight. So good.
Cheers, bro. Good help.
That's so good. Right, man. Do you want to hop in first, or
let's do it?
Yeah.
So, for all things there is a first time, and whilst my first pipe was indeed, as for many, it was a good old faithful corn cob.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up my first Briar. So Peterson Aaron. So their kind of budgety range, the kind of their sort of entry range. But just what a cracking pipe! I absolutely loved it. It was my first, my last, my
My everything.
my everything. So yes, bent apple.
Yeah,
Nice
lovely,
shape.
lovely.
Fits the hand nicely, clenches really, really nicely. Always been my first love.
Yeah.
Couple of little intricacies. Obviously, with it being a bent, it's really swampy, and I'm quite a slobbery smoker, so it's a bit swampy. If I've got one major kind of design drawback, is that the draft hole is a little bit high.
Yeah.
So I can't quite get to the bottom of the bowl often. Not always, but what it means is that I had to kind of improvise, adapt, overcome. I had to kind of do my tamping technique when I started getting to the bottom of the bowl was rather than to tamp straight down, I had to put a bit of an angle so that I was tamping almost at a kind of an oblique, so that I could get a match all the way down to burn it. So rather than burning straight down, it was burning kind of at an angle to match almost the angle of that stem.
Yeah.
And that did the biz. So I still smoke it now for a budget. For that, okay, so there's budget pipes and there's budget pipes. This is one of their budget pipes.
Yeah, it's the entry.
The entry level, but it's still lovely quality Briar. It's a vulcanite stem, which is impressive for a budget range. And it cakes nicely, it smokes nicely. It's still a cracking little pipe. So that's my number one. What about yours, bro?
Very good, yeah, man. And I've got fond memories of smoking in my kitchen. With you smoking that sort of like round about Christmas time, maybe a bit after Christmas time, probably in like 2021.
Yeah.
When you'd like pick that up. So yeah, I've got fond memories of that. So I'm also going to be kicking off with my first pipe.
Oh, it's a clay.
Which is the clay pipe. Yeah.
Standing.
And it's made by Pollux. Which are an English manufacturer. And I want to say they're from Manchester, but I might not be right about that. But yeah, so as you can see, it's a clay pipe. It was a little bit shorter than I imagined, but this was a fiver from GQ. Yeah,
Fiver.
And they had some old stock in. I think they've run out now. But so yeah, that was my first pipe, and I just wanted to try out pipe smoking. So I went with this. Didn't know a thing all about pipes. It's got a little bit of detail. It's got like crossed flags on the front. I don't know if that's like a nautical thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But so
it looks kind of like a naval style as well. Like short to the point, like not too much to kind of get tangled up in stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
But just a nice size.
And I think, just like fortuitously, this gave me a nice smooth introduction into pipe smoking because, like I said, I didn't know a thing all about pipe smoking, didn't know about pipe materials or anything, but the clay pipe, the smoke, even though the bowl itself does tend to get really hot, the smoke itself is so cool, and it really gives a clean, like, unadulterated flavour.
Yeah. Great for testing a new blend out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Often, like I've seen you, and you're like, oh, I've bought some new back here, I'll give it a try. Get a clay pipe.
Yeah.
Let's see how that thing really smokes.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose the only thing to say is not super comfortable to.
Not a clencher.
Can't really clench it. It's not. And
I'm hearing loads of like old school Royal Navy guys telling us to man up now.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't got a hole in your tooth, you're not doing it right.
It's funny you say that. I was about to say, if you look it up, you can find pictures of like skulls of old sailors, and they have got these holes here where the clay is just worn away from the clenching over time.
Exceptionally based.
Yeah, exactly. So, and in rivers in the UK, you can find stems and bowls of these all over the place.
Yeah. Interesting as well. Just talk a little bit. Explain about the like the heritage of guitars of like sort of 17th century pipe smoking clay pipes.
Yeah. So this probably would have been the first material that Englishmen and Europeans were smoking back in like the 17th century, and there was a tradition, and there's a great video that you can watch from this. It's on the British Pathé YouTube channel. It's called The Old Inn, and I think it's from '53. And so what the tradition was is basically they would have a load of these, they would have a rack of these church wardens, so quite a bit longer.
Big.
You'd have a rack of these, and you know, you wouldn't necessarily have your own pipe, but you'd go to the local tavern and you'd pay threepence for the use of the pipe, and you know, maybe a couple of balls of smoke, and you'd enjoy your pipe. And at the end of the night, when everyone's done, they would take the pipe, chuck it on the fire, and that would clean out the bowl. Obviously, it would sterilise the stem. Probably they weren't aware of that, but that's what it did. And then they clean for the next day.
Good to go.
Yeah. So so
Good
it's
stuff.
And I suppose the other thing to say is brittle. You know, you've got to be gentle with these. So for that reason, it's not really a take out and about. So, you know.
Not anywhere near the kids' smoke.
No. For sure.
Well, so look, while we're talking about alternative materials, just for a second, so it'd be quite nice for me to show you my meerschaum pipe.
Yeah.
So it's a Star meerschaum. So it's started to colour up quite nicely now. I've had this for coming up for about a year, I reckon, won't it? I think probably. Maybe not quite.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. But this is the first meerschaum that I bought. The rest of the pipes I've got on Briar. Very interesting material, made out of fossilised.
It's basically
shells.
seashells, isn't it? Yeah.
But the way that this stuff handles heat is unbelievable. Like, it's very porous. It's very it's just an absolute heat sink. It'll just dump all the heat out of the smoke. So it's a really good forgiving smoke. It's a lovely smoke. The material itself, it does get a little bit hot. Is the only thing around the bowl itself.
Yeah, similar to clay.
Right. But and again, there's no kind of coloration in terms of the smoke. There's no flavouring. It won't ghost.
It's clean.
Clean as a whistle. An interesting kind of stem as well. So it's a screw-off stem.
Yeah.
Screw-off mouthpiece. So that's quite nice. It's handy. It means I haven't got to wait for it to cool off before I can clean it. I do like to clean my pipes pretty much straight away. So that's good. Unlike the other Briars that I've got, especially and specifically the Peterson Iron, the draft is right at the bottom. It's a really lovely channel that comes right to the bottom of the bowl, so it smokes right down to the bottom, no problem. And because of the heat, the way it's distributed around the bowl, it just burns flat, really nicely. And it kind of colours over time.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Yeah.
Starting to get some coloration on the top as that smoke started to just bleed out a little bit from the outside, a bit of rosy, and then on the stem as well. So
mainly in the shank, isn't it?
Right, which is funny because when you see all the guys like Lee Van Cleef and all the old spaghetti guys, right, all their old pipes, they're all meerschaum. Like kind of really nice ambery kind of colour.
It's beautiful the way the colours over time,
So that's the first meerschaum. Probably won't be the last, but I know certainly they get really pricey. I went for quite I won't go as far as to say cheap, but cheap as far as meerschaum's concerned. This was about 90 quid, which I thought was unbelievable. I couldn't leave it for that.
Good price for block meerschaum.
Block meerschaum, it is block meerschaum, not pressed. But it won't be the last meerschaum.
Yeah, I'd love to get hold of a meerschaum at some point. Yeah. So. Duncan's in the chat, Highland Duncan.
Oh, Duncan.
Evening, guys. Great to see you both together. Yeah,
likewise,
thank you, Duncan. Yeah, likewise, exactly. And thank you for joining us, brother. Yeah, so I've kickstarted a little bit of a solo career lately. So I think I've done 2 at present.
You used to be about the music, man. Slag off.
Yeah.
What happened to you, man?
I know, I've sold out. But yeah, obviously, it's about the 2 of us. And this is the stuff that we like to do. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for joining us, man. So I'm going to follow in the same vein of alternative materials, and I'm still going chronologically at this point.
Okay.
This was the second pipe that I got, and it is a pearwood church warden.
Right.
And this is from Mr. Belandis of Poland, who I believe was a associate of Mr. Brog, who also makes Polish pipes.
Yeah.
So it's a pearwood. It's been stained black. I paid about 15 quid for this. It took about 2 or 3 weeks to come from Poland. Basically, at the time, I still don't know a lot about pipes, but I've been smoking the clay, I've been enjoying it, and I want something that looks in my head a bit more like a pipe. And at the time, I was obsessed with church wardens. Being like a Tolkien Lord of the Rings fan, I was obsessed with church wardens. I was like, I need to get a church warden, and this was 15 quid, and I just thought, I didn't know about Bry or
It's
anything.
not bad for 15 quid.
Yeah,
Is it?
and so I just thought, yeah, I'll get that. And yeah, so it's a vulcanite stem as well.
Is it?
Yeah, well, like I say,
For that money?
yeah, pear wood. And you know what, like, for the price of this, 15 quid, there's no reason to get this over a cob.
Yeah.
But the fact is, I did get it, and I gotta be honest, it's not a terrible smoke.
It's alright, isn't it?
It's not a terrible smoke at all. It does, I want to say, have a slight different kind of flavour to it, and it doesn't deal with heat as well as Briar does.
Yeah.
But I will say this is just a bit of a idiosyncratic kind of a thing. But I remember Bosun Cut Plug, which is like quite a dark Lakeland, and it's really highly topped with that geranium.
Yeah, yeah.
For whatever reason, I liked Bosun Cut Plug in this. I didn't like it in a Briar.
No way.
Did something to the flavour. I don't know what it was. But yeah. So all things being equal, price points considered, and performance and everything, I don't recommend you get pears or any of the other hardwoods like fruit woods, birch, oak.
Wood.
Well, olive wood's a
Olive wood's
a bit of a different thing. I don't have an olive wood. I hear that they smoke well, a bit prone to cracking, but I haven't smoked one myself, so I can't say for sure. But you know, it's a nice pipe. It's a good-looking pipe. It kind of
Beautiful pipe.
Yeah, great pipe.
Great pipe.
Lovely pipe. So
And for 15 quid, I mean.
yeah, so I wasn't out much. I enjoyed it at the time, but I
That's
had
a
moved.
really nice shape as well.
Yeah,
actually.
it's nice.
I like it.
But I moved on to better things.
Well, since we're talking about church wardens, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you mentioned about that and about because like we're both right. Neither of us really like Lord of the Rings. Sitting in the Green Dragon, smoking. So I also decided. I mean, I really wanted a church warden too. Me being a complete copycat of Harry and looking up to him, but also I remember seeing a video by a guy called Luke who does he makes knives and he also does pipes. I think he makes pipes as well. And I can never remember the guy's channel. I'll find the channel and I'll post it in the chat or on the description. And the guy was saying about Virginia forward blends.
Right.
Virginia blends can get very, very hot, and I was getting my mouth torched with Virginias.
It's a spicy meatball.
It's a spicy meatball, and it's particularly Capstan, right?
Ooh.
You gave me some Capstan. I was like, I really like this, but it's merciless.
Ooh.
What can I do about it? So I decided that I want to get a new pipe. I also decided I wanted to get a church warden. I wanted to get a decent sized church warden. I also wanted one that had got a nice curve on the stem to help deal with some of that heat. And I also wanted one that was tall, and I also wanted one that was thick. I wanted a chunk. And I came up on this, which is the near up. And it just kind of fit everything. I wanted rusticated. It's a really nice rusticated. I wanted to see the briar. I can see the briar. I can see the grain. The grain in the wood. The only, you might want to call it a downside. I know a lot of guys don't like filter pipes. This is a filter pipe. I ended up with balsa filters, and I think they're great. They're okay. They're more than okay. I think they handle it really well. And don't colour the smoke at all. Yes, it's a bit more fiddle and a bit more faff. I've tried it without, and I've tried it with a spacer as well, and it just didn't quite work. But with a Sav 9mm balsa filter, this just absolutely treats Virginias like a princess, and it is just so good. It caked up almost immediately, even on like not particularly cakey blends of Bacchi. So they got a lot of burley in, or if it's quite dry and it cakes well, this was caking everything. It caked up in about half a dozen smokes. And it is still I've only got a couple of church wardens. This is my favourite of the two of them. I did have a Savinelli tandem and bust the stem on it. But
I remember that.
I was wounded. But which is why I wanted to get another church warden and look after this one.
Yeah.
But this is just a lovely bit of Danish craftsmanship. It ticked a lot of boxes. And it's still my favourite church warden, and I still go to this quite regularly. Good for Virginia blends. Great for the C&Ds.
Yeah.
Great for the C&D blends.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a lovely pipe that. Really, a lot of character.
Yeah, like the coloured stem.
Yeah, the stem and the collar, the ferrule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. Big old boy. So, yeah, moving on to my next one.
Oh,
It's the Missouri Meerschaum Emerald.
Right.
Yeah, and my first cob, and I
Was it?
yeah, yeah, it was, and I think I paid about 25 quid for it. It comes with the acrylic stem.
Which is quite almost kind of getting spenny for a cob, right?
Yeah, it's getting up there for a cob, but
Yeah.
it's got the acrylic stem.
Yeah.
And it's a nice green stem. It's kind of
Yeah.
like mottled with white. And there was a straight and a bent version. I went for bent.
Yeah.
And I remember this came one day. I was off work. It must have been the weekend, and it came with some Gareth Hogarth rum flake, aka Jamaican flake, as they call it now. And I packed it up. I made a cup of coffee, and I sat outside. And I remember lining it up, and I just remember the caramel and the molasses and the rum coming in so sweet, and just thinking, wow, this is I'm really getting this now, because this is still quite early in my pipe smoking career, and I'm just like, wow, I'm really getting what this is about. I've got the coffee, I've got the sweet smoke, it's coming in so good, and it really. In my initiation into cobs and just the great quality of smoke that they can provide for such a good price. The cool smoke, the way that the ember stays lit for such a long while without a lot of attention.
They're very low maintenance as well.
Low maintenance.
Cobs, very low maintenance. And that's the wood.
Yeah, so
Stem.
it's got hardwood shank,
Hardwood,
a fixed stem, so that doesn't come out.
Yeah, that's good.
But it goes through nicely.
Yeah.
Pipe clean goes through really nicely.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of fond memories of this pipe, including me into cobs, and I always remember that first smoke with the rum flake.
Yeah.
I
remember that they did some really good at the reunions.
Oh yeah.
The reunion flake.
We used to smoke those a lot, didn't we?
They did. Was it a bourbon one they do as well?
It was the bourbon.
Yeah.
So when
And was there a Louisiana one as well that we had before?
it wasn't Louisiana, it was called 27 Lowther Street,
Yeah.
which is where Gareth set up. So basically, there's Samuel Gareth and I'm really sorry I can't remember his name, but Mr. Hogarth, and they combined to make Gareth Hogarth, and they're really old tobacco manufacturer. And I don't know, they had some kind of fallout at some point, and it turned into Gareth Hogarth and Samuel Gareth.
Yeah.
And then they joined back up. I think that was fairly recently.
Yeah.
And they brought out this reunion series, which was 3 tobaccos.
Yeah.
Brown House rolls.
Yeah.
Which are the
spun.
Yeah, the spun like a cabbage mixture,
Yeah.
and they've got maple casing.
Yeah.
And probably my least favourite of the 3, but it's nice sweet smoke, fairly simple but nice and sweet. And then there's the bourbon flake, which we smoked a lot of back in the day. For me, that's an enjoyable smoke. There's not a lot of I don't get a lot of tobacco in that smoke, but the whiskey bourbon topping is really prominent.
In it,
It's so boozy. It just smells like Frank Sinatra's basement when you smoke that thing.
You kind of want to wear it like a dicky bow under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the 27 Lowther Street, also
Yeah.
there's the Perique flake,
yeah.
which I got for the first time in Scarborough at the Black Swan. I bought it with the rich dark flake, which is like my Woodstock story.
Yeah. I was there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. And so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that actually.
Yeah.
So it's your turn.
Yeah, no worries. So while we're talking about kind of moving into Briars, so I did pick up. In fact, I've got it here, so I will show it up. So one of the things I wanted to pick up was a rusticated, and I've managed to stumble upon really the Blakemar brand pipes. So Mike down at Blakemar Briars had a look at his and just fell in love with this one, which is the Aristocrat, which is one of the kind of mid-range series, but I loved it. So Straight was the first straight that I bought, but when I wanted to kind of come back, I thought, I fancy another bent. I do like a bent pipe, so so Came back and went to Mike again, had a look at his deluxe range, which is like his. I think the only one above that is the Lichbriere, which is like but this is still like an EXO, really fine quality Briar. It's little, it's quite dainty. The walls are quite thin, but the bowl is it's surprising. It's a bit like a TARDIS line. You can get quite a lot of backing in there. But just the quality of the craftsmanship was absolutely outstanding. What I wanted was a Savinelli. I talked myself out of a set because I loved the Clark that you've got, and I love the Bing that you've got. But I ended up thinking, I can't just keep copying Harry. It's not fair. I'm never going to be Harry. I'm never going to be cool enough to be Harry, right? But so let's go and have a look. What else is there? So I picked up the Malvern and just absolutely loved it. This with burly flakes and burly backies is just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pipe.
It's so good, and I can stick it in the exceptionally wonderful and lovely pouch that you got me for Christmas. Fits really nice in that. And if I don't want to take something that's a bit more utilitarian, like the Falcon, which I'll come on to later, if I want to do a proper, do a proper job, get some smoke on, I'll just go for the Malvern. I'll take the Malvern out with me.
It's lovely and compact, isn't it?
It is. And one of the things that I did feel a bit disappointed with to start with is that when I took the mouthpiece out, which again is Vulcanite, there's like a little notch out of the inside of the pipe, and I've not seen that before. And I thought it was an
flop,
right? Yeah. And I was kind of a bit like, oh. But it was only when I kind of realised, well, actually, the stem comes out quite nicely, but it still holds nice.
Yeah.
But it moves really, really freely, and I've seen it on other pipes since, and it's there to kind of free up, so you don't get like that suction effect when you put in the stem back in, the mouthpiece back in. So it's a really good design, and the colouring and the design's getting a bit dark now, but the colouring of the design on the Briar is just beautiful. I really love it. It's still my. I would go as far as to say my favourite non-raw Briar pipe.
Yeah.
Because I've got my favourite one, which I'll leave to last. Yeah. So it's on to you, man.
Yeah.
Stick us some more tunes on.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same, man. I'll put the tunes back on. Yeah, and I've been an admirer of that pipe. I think it's a lovely pipe.
And he's a good guy, he's a family business.
Yeah.
I do like to kind of support our own,
Yeah, he's fairly local to us.
Yeah, he's in Northampton. He also actually did, while you're doing that, he did he kind of got a bit of a claim to fame actually for the guys who like Peaky Blinders. He was approached by Stephen Knight, I think, the guy who basically was the showrunner and the writer for Peaky Blinders, to say, what would Chester, I can't remember his surname now.
I can't remember.
Sam Neill, basically. Sam Neill, right, with the stick. Oh, Master Churchill.
Yeah.
Right, so, dreadful impression.
That was good.
What would he smoked? What kinds of pipes were around at the time? And he said, well, it would have been kind of this kind of shape and this kind of design. So I said, where do you get them from? He said, well, you're probably not get one, but I'll make you some. Yeah. So he made a few pipes for the show, and the guys just loved them. They fell in love with them. So,
I believe it's the medium pot that they went with, and at least, up to a few months ago now, last time we're checking, you can still get that. So Duncan's come in again and he said, I really like the look and idea of Cobb, but after trying the Legend and the Gentleman, they aren't for me. There is a tasting pot into the smoke that's not for me. Great pipes, just I mean, I can get that. Yeah, so the Gentleman and the Legend, they're quite some of the more popular ones. I don't know about the taste. I'm not sure if I get a taste. There is a different quality to the smoke for sure, and all things being equal, I would pick the Briar, but I just think that the Cobb definitely eased me into pipe smoking. Showed me how enjoyable and how good it can be. Yeah. And they're also just great to have for knock around pipes.
Definitely. So. You got me the hook fin, and I'll tell you something. That and aromatics. Oh, it's like hand in glove.
Cobb's aromatics. Yeah, definitely. So what am I going to go with next? So I think what I'm going to go with next is still staying chronological, is my first Briar. Which it's got a dust bunny in. That's my first Briar, and it's another bent apple like Dion's first Briar was. It's a Molina, Italian pipe maker, and I kind of looked them up, and they're a fairly well respected Italian manufacturer. It's completely lacquered. So I paid about 35 quid for it. So I'm still at a point where I don't want to. I'm not wanting to spend too much on pipes because I'm still kind of getting into it.
Looks the part though. That.
It looks really nice.
Yeah.
It's completely lacquered. So I've got to imagine that there might be some flaw in the grain, or it's not the best grain. But and I think because of the bentness, the bentness. Did I just say bentness? Oh my god! Shut it down! Shut it down!
We're off. You've changed, man.
I can't believe I said that.
You've changed.
Because of the bent stem, there's a lot of moisture that collected, and I remember that being like a new problem that I'd not really faced because the clay never really did that.
Yeah.
The cob never really did that. So that was a new thing that I was facing. Yeah. The lacquer did bubble up around the rim just a touch.
Yeah.
But I kind of just smoothed it out with my finger, just kind of rubbed it out, and it's not really too noticeable. So, and it's got this acrylic stem which is quite good looking.
Yeah.
So all in all, for my first Briar, I don't think it was bad. My introduction to Briars.
Yeah.
I remember smoking a lot of Gareth Navy Flake in this.
Oh yeah.
And it's because this bent, it's quite nice to clench in the mouth.
That's still a
Hangs
nice
it quite
Latakia
nice.
forward flake. That.
Yeah, very nice, man. Yeah. So yeah, the old Molina bent apple.
Actually, I quite like the detailing on the.
Yeah. So
that's very kind of Savinelli-esque.
yeah, I don't know if I've got anything to show, but I like something that provides a bit of distinction between the end of the shank and the start of the stem. You know what I mean? I like that. So yeah, first Briar. That was my first Briar.
That's beautiful. So not quite. Well, is it kind of a Briar? The bowl is definitely Briar, but the design is definitely not, and that's sort of Falcon. I remember you showing me some, and you said, "Oh, have you seen these? Have you come across these?" And I said, "No." So basically, the metal stems are they steel or aluminium? Aluminium. But the idea behind them being that all of the bolts can come off. You have like a little. Should I just pick that up there? Like a little ring of clipped pipe cleaner that you can get in there. They sell their own dry rings, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
With like a little grommet underneath to kind of keep it sealed, and effectively the idea being that you smoke, you get the Briar effect in the bowl. Underneath you've got like what they call a humidome. Yeah. So all of the collection, because I'm a sloppy smoker. What with you being bentness and me being sloppy, I don't know what's going on tonight. I don't quite know. It's summertime. We're all having fun. Definitely nothing more in that. Don't come at us.
Just a bit of sloppy bentness.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't come at us. Literally, don't come at us. So the idea being is that all that moisture just gets soaked underneath, comes straight down. The drawer is circular. The draft hole is not a hole. It's a circular section, which kind of fits with a small like a small ring around the inside that draws the smoke through, but all of the moisture just collects in this humidome and doesn't come up the stem. The stem helps cool it as well. This keeps it cool, so it dumps all the heat out on the bottom, and by the time it comes up here, it's cool, it's dry, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So low maintenance, no issues. What kind of blends? Any kind of blend.
Anything.
This will just handle anything. I've got a Meerschaum bowl for this as well.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Which isn't bad. That was really the first Meerschaum thing that I got. But they didn't make it. It's not a Falcon blend, and there's kind of a little bit of
Star.
It's Star, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the bowls that these come with. I mean, this is
It's the Hunter.
not the Bulldog. It's the Hunter. Yes, sorry. Yes, you're right. It's the Hunter. Yeah, the Hunter. And it was quite light when I first got it.
Isn't that the Bulldog?
It could be the Bulldog, yeah, sorry, I think you're right. And then I think the other one's the Hunter's the wider one that it came with, and I've got this one as well. So I've got a few interchangeable bowls for this. Why? What's a good thing for this? I've got some backies, Condor being one of them, which is effectively just an absolute ghost show, right? This is like King Boo's castle, right, for ghosting. And I ain't got to worry about it. It's fine. I've just got a bowl that I just use to smoke Condor. It's great. And when I don't want to taste Condor, I just switch the bowl out. It's no problem. So this was just, yes, it's good for sitting around the house in. I go fishing, goes in a bag. I ain't got to worry about that. It can fit neatly into the pouch. I take it camping. It's very low maintenance. I haven't got to worry about it. It's not going to get cracked or broke as long as I look after it. Yeah, it's just a great bit of English engineering. The only thing that really held me back from getting a Condor, from getting a Falcon in the first place was I didn't like the aesthetic. It looked a bit off until you showed me the shillelagh stem.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got to have one. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I mean, to my shame, I didn't bring my Falcon. So my first introduction to Falcons, actually, I don't know if I've ever told the story, but like a long time ago, I was in primary school, but I was walking with my mum, and I found a little bird that had fallen out of its nest. And I know whatever, you're supposed to leave them or you're supposed to put them back in the nest if you can, whatever. But anyway, we picked it up.
Dogs, you know, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dip it in soy sauce. But anyway, we picked it up, which I know you're not supposed to do. But my mum knew a guy that lived kind of on the couple of streets over who looked after birds, mainly birds of prey, but all kinds of birds. And we took it to him, and he ended up, rehabilitating it and everything. But I ended up spending all of my weekends, all of my holidays there, just helping out with the birds of prey, cleaning out the stuff, and that's how I kind of got into falconry and whatnot. But he smoked condor in a falcon, and I just remember like we would take breaks and we'd have like tea or hot chocolate, and he'd be there smoking on the pipe. I remember how good it smelled. So that was like way back when I remember like first seeing a falcon, and then I kind of got into pipes myself, and I remembered, oh yeah, Terry used to smoke a falcon, right? So I started to take a look at the falcons, and exactly like you, for me, I'm more of a traditional kind of guy. It didn't look the part for me, and I remember reading about a humidome, and I was like, that sounds so gimmicky. But I ended up reading about them, and people were saying how good they were. So I thought, let's try it. Yeah, for roughly just a couple of quid, over 30 quid for a stem and a bowl, I thought, I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
And the humidome is not a gimmick. It absolutely works. The smoke is so good, so flavourful, cool, dry. I went with a hunter stem, a bent hunter stem.
Yeah,
the hunter is black.
Yeah.
It's blacked out. It looks great.
Yeah.
And then I got an extra. It's called an extra, a straight stem, which is like it's brown.
Yeah.
Because the normal the standard line is like chrome, kind of like a silver chrome, and it just, for me, it just looks a bit too garish.
Looks off, yeah.
It looks like a robot's pipe.
Yeah.
And there is a video on the channel called "Should You Buy a Falcon?" and it's a couple of years old now, but I go into all of that, and in the end, I recommend it. So,
and again, English manufacturers. Yeah. So in terms of your other favourites then, bro.
My next one. Got in there? My next one that I'm going to go with, and this was a birthday gift to myself.
Got to do it.
And it was really the first kind of pipe that I spent a bit more money on. And it's the Savinelli Porto Servo. I can't remember the number, but basically it's a straight apple.
Yeah.
And it's got this lovely rustication on the ball and shank. It's supposed to resemble...
It's like a pine cone, isn't it?
Yeah. It's supposed to resemble like the rocky outcrops of Porto Servo in Italy.
Right.
But it's got a smooth rim that contrasts with the rustication, which I really like.
Classy.
And I remember being my birthday, and as the night came in, the kids were down, and I took this outside and I poured myself a nice porter, a nice stout, and I had a fire lit on the patio, and I smoked this for the first time. I was smoking some Latakia in it, and my first Savinelli, first filter pipe, and I just remember really enjoying that first smoke, and I smoked this a ton, and it was the first pipe that I really noticed getting a lot of cake in.
Yeah.
I ended up smoking a lot of bourbon flake in this in the end, and I still come back to it occasionally, and I'm starting to notice now there is getting, because it's a vulcanite stem, it's getting a bit of oxidation.
I quite like that.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, it shows that it's well used and well loved, and you can restore it, and maybe I'll do that at some point. But and it's also got a bit of char on the rim, because at the time I suppose I was less careful with my lighting, and I just thought that's just par for the course. That's just what happens. But But later in my career, I did realise that you can be more careful with the rim. If you've got a smooth rim, do be a bit more careful. You can avoid it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my first sort of
What beauty.
more upper scale Briar.
Again, there's that kind of
Yeah.
trademark sort of Savinelli banding around the mouthpiece.
Yeah. And I thought it was a beautiful pipe.
it's
and
cracking.
so yeah.
Crackerjack. So I come onto my favourite. So I've got a couple of other pipes that I have sort of kept to one side. I showed you the other Blake Mar, but I also picked up, when I picked up the Meerschaum, I also picked up the Peterson Dracula. I just love the aesthetic of it. I wanted one of the better quality Peterson pipes. Love it. Love the aesthetic. Love the design. A little bit of bubbling on the on the.
I think
finish,
that
which
just
is
comes
one
with
thing.
lacquer,
It's just
lacquer
that
finishes.
that's it. It is what it is, and it's where I kind of hold it, so I don't have to kind of worry about it too much. And again, a little bit around the top. It's a massive bowl. I mean, like it's quite hollow and it's big. But that's one of my. That's a 3Ps bowl. That I just pack that full of 3Ps, and I'm away for there for
3Ps, great man.
maybe 2 hours. I can get 2 hours out of that.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted at the time, what I was really after when I picked up the Meerschaum and I picked up the Peterson Drac, what I really wanted was one of these.
Yeah.
This is what I really was after, and I didn't. And it always bugged me. I thought, I would love a handmade. I would love a freehand raw briar pipe, one of Nordin's signature, and eventually I did plump for it. I had a little bit of a mini windfall one particular week. I was feeling particularly flush and thought, for 110 quid, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So got in touch with Barbers, they sent one over, parted with a bit of Harding. Hand cut vulcanite
Yeah.
in terms of the stem. Interesting, there's no kind of tapering as such, it just goes, it's not quite army mount, but it's similar. But I mean, the feel of it, the way that it holds, that was really something that I'd not really considered too much when I bought it. But as soon as I put it in my hand, the way that it's kind of carved, if you're a righty and you hold it normally, you can hold it around the bowl, just the right size for my thumb. If I want to choke a little bit, like a half choke, there's a little finger hold there for me to hold it, and it's kind of it bevels off slightly, so it's nice for that. If I want to really choke it off, again, this hand hold on there, it just feels so right. If you're a lefty, it's all on the other side. Like, it's just such an ergonomic, easy holding, easy clenching for a size of the bowl that it is and the size of the hardware that it is. It clenches really well.
Yeah.
Again, big chunky bowl,
Yeah.
handles heat so well. And it started off, probably might not quite pick this up on the camera, but it started off that kind of sort of taupe colour, and it's really coloured up. So that was everywhere, and it's really coloured up in the
Coloured up
hand.
lovely,
Yeah, with maybe just not that many smokes really through it. One of the things I noticed with a lot of briar makers was that they'll scorch the inside of the bowl or the coat. So like the Peterson was coated, it had like a gritty coating on it. This hadn't got anything. It was raw briar all the way through, and this caked up again in about. I must have sent you a message saying I've smoked 3 or 4 bowls through this, and it's caking.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, and it's almost caked up like pretty much spot on now. I've had probably about half a dozen, no, maybe about a dozen smokes through this, and it's caked up a tree, and it just started now to just open up some of that colouring in the that distinction in the
Yeah, I really like that half of the rim that they've sort of left with the natural like burl on it.
Yeah, and you that really kind of comes through, and the colouring has kind of accentuated that a little bit. Sensitive in such a way. So this was really what I was after, and honestly, again, for really any kind of, it'll treat Virginia as well. But this is getting a lot of burley through it. This is getting a lot of this C&D stuff, and yeah, this is my favourite pipe.
It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous pipe, man. I love that pipe.
You can spend more money on a pipe, and listen, they're great. And I always want to fancy the Dunhill.
Yeah.
They get really spenny.
One day.
It'll be there. She will be mine. But man, I look at that. I think that's the best 110 quid I've ever spent on a pipe. I love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. I like that pipe.
And what about your favourite?
So, Yeah, so to jump to my favourite, which is it's also my latest acquisition, which I've showed off recently, but it is the Chacon Sably spigot. So it's got the spigot stem, army mount kind of stem. So and it's got the stinger in there, which is unlike other stingers I've seen, which usually have a ball on the end, but this is drilled straight through, and it does a really nice job of just tightening up the draw to perfection, and also taking care of a bit of the moisture. So yeah, and it's got, like I said, it's got that spigot mount, so I don't have to worry about removing it when there's heat. It's a bit more like slimmed down than a lot of the pipes that I've typically bought. So I think it's got like a really elegant kind of profile to it, that like woodstock kind of Dublin shape.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been kind of getting into the habit over the last few months of reading more with my pipe, and because it's bent, it clenches nicely. It's very light. So this has been my pipe that I'm just smoking day in, day out recently.
It's very you, like rusticated.
Yeah, exactly.
Like army mount.
Yeah, it's and yeah, I really love this.
Chacon, so obviously like a brand that's just associated with like really good quality pipes anyway.
Absolutely, one of the earliest sort of like French, you know, from the I think from the Loire Valley, I want to say, in France, where you know the first briar pipes are coming from.
Yeah.
So stained black, which I like, and just a little story, by the way. So the other day, I dropped the stem, and I picked it up and I checked it over, and there was a nick in the acrylic, and I was like, oh, and my tism flared up, and I was looking at like what.
You know what we mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at like what I could do,
yeah.
and I had a bit of wet and dry paper. Now it wasn't the finest grit. However, I picked the finest grit that I got, and I gently buffed it out.
Teased it out, yeah.
And the nick went, but there was some clear alteration where I nicked it from the rest, and that flared me up even more. So I was like, what do I do now? And I just had the idea I had my ashtray, and there was like cigar ash in there.
Yeah.
And I just like grabbed a bit of cigar ash, and I just mixed it with a bit of spit.
Yeah.
And I just rubbing my finger into it. And I did that for a while, and then I wiped it off, and I've got a suede arrow quiver hanging in the garage, and I took the suede and I buffed it with the suede, and do you know what? It came up like new.
Well, it's amazing you say that, because my granddad used to be a turner, right? It was a centre-lane
I think that's what I remember, because I remember you saying that they used it in the drill.
Correct.
When they bored things.
That's right.
And that came back to me, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, and again, apologies if this has come on one of the previous casts, but the story was that he never used to smoke a pipe until he started he was an apprentice. He was only 16, right? And turned up on site, and the guy who was mentoring him, right, is gaffer, right. Said to him, right, send down here, lad. Yeah. We're gonna do some. Gonna make some bits. At that point, they were making their own tools. It was blacksmithing. Right. He says, right, we're gonna make a drill bit. So we set all the lathe up, and then instead of getting the buffing compound, he just took his pipe to bits, sucked a bit of dottle out, spat on it, ran it through the buffing machine. He says, and the shine that you got off it, it was like glass when it finished. It was so good. So yeah, something in it.
Yeah, and that's what came to me. Yeah. I can't like when I was telling that story just then, I couldn't remember what made me think to use the cigar ash, but it was that story. Yeah. Me telling it, because it was on the you told it on the first podcast episode that we did. That was and then I buffed it with the suede. Yeah, because there's like the quiver and it's got the strap, and there's a bit of length on the strap that's loose, and I just took it and I just buffed it up, and it came up really nice.
That's the stuff. I mean, believe it or not, once upon a time when I used to shave, I was always using straight razors. And for that was always that you use some compound for when you're doing coarse stropping.
Right.
So on the leather side of the strop, and then I've got a suede strop where you're not really supposed to use anything other than just the oils on the palm of your hand to just buff up and down. I think they call it Russian suede, they call it, but anyway, it's very, very fine. And they use that on the edge to get like a really high polish on it. So I reckon a combination of that, like a nice, because obviously the suede on your quiver will be nice and soft, and it'll be a good, nice quality. And just a little bit of compound on there, it'll really have done the job.
It did the trick. Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Duncan, so Duncan's favourite currently is Jack Ryan.
Fully bent.
Ooh, Jack Ryan is in Got John Grisham.
Oh yeah. Oh man, what's his name?
Yeah, the other guy.
Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy, yeah. Fully bent, big ball, thick walls. We love them thick. Natural tan colour. Love it so much. Yeah, he's got a second Jack Ryan
Wow.
tomorrow. Okay.
Artisan pipe maker.
Artisan. Okay.
Jack Ryan. I
Slightly
got
bent bulldog. Okay.
slightly bent bulldog with a yellow band and red stem. The colours are an ode to my favourite football team, Mighty Patrick Thistle.
Partick Thistle. Oh,
Right.
it's Thistle-eye. Okay.
Nice man.
Stuff.
I've never heard
Being
of
a
Jack
Highlander.
Ryan.
No,
but,
I've not come across it.
So I know that there's Chris Asquith, who is an English artisan pipe maker. But yeah, man, that's worth a look into.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get myself like a nice little handmade
Yeah.
piece.
Well, there's a guy in not far from us in Bolsover that's an
No.
artisan pipe maker.
No
Yeah, he's
way,
a
really?
pipesmith, yeah. A guy called, I want to say Simon, somebody Chapman anyway. That so I used to teach this guy. I used to teach his lad guitar
Right.
back in the day when I used to play, and he caught me at the woods at the waterside in Holly Waterside while I was out fishing, and he said, "So you smoke pipes, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, that's right, yeah." He said, "Oh well, you need to have a chat with my mate because he makes them." They start at about 300 quid, and I'm like, ooh. But they're really nice.
Yeah.
So that's maybe.
Has he got a page? Has he got like a...
Yeah, I think so. So that might be the next. I'll find the details over.
Yeah. If we get
Well,
we'll have to plug that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So yeah, that was kind of a bit of a meet and greet. Meet our family.
Yeah.
Our family is 6.
I've got a few more, and I'm going to run through them quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
So these are honourable mentions. The Savinelli 320. Now, I absolutely love. Yeah, I love the shape. I love the look of this pipe. It's thick.
Yeah.
It's ugly. It's got dancing. It's got dancing fingerprints all over it. But no, it's gorgeous. Now, I remember telling a story about this recently on one of my solo podcasts. It came with a loose stem, and there was no, and water wasn't tightening it up. But so I use the heat and press technique. Now you'll see that basically I squashed down the thinner part of the acrylic that would have held an adapter or a filter. So I basically ruined this pipe. It still smokes, but it's got quite an open draw on it because of that fact. I used beeswax on the tenon, which is, now you can see that's really tightened up the fit. It fits nice and snug, so that's fixed that. However, I cannot get on with this pipe, and I know that people love this particular shape has got a big following. People tend to collect them in all the different kind of lines that they come in, but I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever really enjoyed smoke in this bowl. I think it's something about the shape and because it's quite a wide diameter.
I wonder if there's kind of a particular blend that it might really suit.
People say the English blends, but I tried the English. I really tried a lot of different things, and for me, if anyone wants to jump in and they've got 320 and say that they've got a certain way that they enjoy the pipe, I'd love to hear about it because I think it's a gorgeous pipe. But I love the look of it. I think it's gorgeous. Just haven't been able to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's just some pipes suit and some pipes don't. It's a very personal thing. You know, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander.
Exactly.
With this, so it's just one of them.
And
what else have you got in the box of treasures?
Yeah, and I think just the last one. Oh, I'm going to give a quick mention to the Bing's favourite.
Oh.
Which is the first pipe that I really got that I thought was
it's such a classic
really
pipe.
fancy.
I thought this was coming out. I really did.
Yeah. Another Savinelli, like a long, elegant shank and stem. Nice, tall, fairly narrow kind of a bowl.
Yeah.
I loved.
It's long, isn't it? It's kind of getting up to readers kind of.
Yeah, it's sort of like a 3/4.
Yeah.
I loved Periques in this.
Yeah.
I remember coming home from Scarborough the same day, picking up that 27 Lather Street, sticking it in there, and just loving that smoke. And so yeah, this is a really really nice smoke.
Lovely rustication on that as well.
Yeah.
Just nice and fine. Lovely craftsmanship. Again, that nice Savinelli band around the inside.
Yeah.
Love
nice
this.
stem.
Yeah, that's great. Beautiful colouring on the stem.
Yeah, so that's definitely a pipe that I enjoy. And I think the last one that I want to talk about, and I've spoken about it before, is another Chacon that I've got.
Oh, that's in good nick. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the Peterson bag, which is the mortar.
Oh yeah.
So another pipe that I've not got on with, which is really unfortunate because it's my most expensive pipe. It was 3 figures. I think it was just over £100. The stem is really lovely. It's like a kind of like mottled, kind of coffee brown, with different shades of like cream in it. Yeah, regular kind of stem. It's got like the nickel ferrule on it.
And I do like on the inside. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but I've got that in the inside of the near up as well, and that's like, similar, like a wood,
like the naked colour. Yeah. So this is called mortar, aka bog oak. So it's petrified oak.
Black as
bog. Yeah. So they get it from peat kind of fields in Europe. I think there's a lot in Poland. I think there's a fair bit in Ireland, but
I wonder where it was coming. Yeah.
Some of these bits of wood are like hundreds, 1,000 years old. But it's a really odd sensation.
You said that it changed some of the blend. That you knew it tasted differently in other pipes, and you smoked it, and actually it's not the same.
Well, it smokes cool. It smokes dry. It's low maintenance. It doesn't require cake or anything. In a lot of ways, it's like an expensive cob. But yeah, the thing was, blends that I knew I liked and enjoyed, when I smoked in this, I described it as like there's a grey filter over the blend. Yeah. It just kind of dulls down everything. The flavours are coming in more muted, less complex. That unfortunately, that is another one that I haven't got on with, and it's not a knock to Chacon because, like I said, my favourite, the quality's there, and my current favourite is the Chacon. I would love to get back to it and see if I can get on with it.
Yeah, I wonder if there are some particular blends that it does suit.
Yeah, but just the experience I've had with it, I haven't got on with it.
One of them.
So
what a shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, Duncan. So he was interviewed on the most recent Pipe Magazine radio interview with Brian Levine. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, and shout out to Pipe Magazine because they did give us a shout out back in the day.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Jack's from the Edinburgh. Scottish.
Oh, good lad.
Very nice. Very nice.
And one of the other, speaking of honourable mentions, and one of the pipes that I had my eye on, I've still kind of got my eye on, was a Rattrays, and I keep seeing them. And the quality of them is great. And I know they do good backy as well. Although I've not smoked any of that.
I haven't tried.
But apparently
people speak well of them.
They do.
And Rattrays do some filtered and some unfiltered. I tend to prefer the unfiltered.
This was an unfiltered.
Yeah.
It was a 3/4. Again, it was rusticated. It was when I picked up the near up. It was one of the 3 that I whittled it down to. No pun intended. But yeah, so that's probably the one I've kind of still got my eye. I have kind of still got my. I will at some point end up with a Savinelli Clarks. I think.
Yeah.
With a
which I didn't bring, but I have got one, and it's more bent.
Love it.
It's a lovely pipe.
Beautiful.
Beautiful pipe. Speaking of honourable mentions as well, ahlan wa sahlan and marhaban to our new latest subscriber.
That
you picked up today.
Yeah, Sammy, good lad at work. We had a bit of a chat about sticks this afternoon over a trip to the sandwich shop. So Sam's back off to Lebanon.
Oh really?
Yeah, but he said, we have likes a stick every now and again. Lives not too far away from us, and not too far away from where we get most of our sticks from when we're not ordering online near Mitchell's. Again, good shout out for Mitchell's. We say it every week.
Yeah,
they're great guys.
Yeah, and I got speaking to one of the guys, and he took down the name of our channel, and he said that they're refurbishing the website and they will give us a little shout out on there. I just got talking. Great guy. I didn't catch his name, but he's great. He's in there often. He's a great guy. Really knowledgeable on his cigars.
Not sniffy either. You know, kind of going someplace and a bit like.
Yeah.
But they.
I mean, everybody that I've spoken to in there really friendly and really. Knowledgeable and
supportive.
Yeah, exactly. Just willing to talk you through everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this particular guy, he took down the name. He said he would give us a shout out on the new website. So. Yeah.
So I pointed Sam to Mitchell's, but yeah, when we were talking about sticks, I said, come and get on, and so Mitchell's run like a a range of taster nights,
Yes.
and they hold them in pretty much exactly where Sam lives. So look,
Right.
come and I'll let you know when they're on. Come and get some sticks. Come and have a smoke and drink with us. In the meantime, come and get onto Sweet Galena's. Come and have a drink with us.
Definitely. And we're excited for the Foundation tasting night, which is going to be in September.
So I'll come on to. In fact, we'll go on to foundations now. Foundation sticks. You put me onto about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Particularly the tabernacles.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a touch of luck with the raffle tickets.
Yeah, well.
Which was amazing. We've had a couple of them. We had them on the cast. Their sticks are just out of this world.
Beautiful.
Those CT broadleaf.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me, those wrappers are just sensational. So yeah, we've got one of their nights coming up.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
And I've been smoking a lot of the Foundation Charter Oak, which is sort of the entry
Yeah.
line. So I'm kind of smoking a lot of them because the flavour and the quality is great. It's got that Connecticut broadleaf, which is not like that when you think Connecticut, you think very mild, very light. But it's
This ain't your daddy's Connecticut wrapper, is it?
no, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's rich. It's
Yeah.
oily, and so so I get the Charter Oak, and it's kind of like a Tabernacle light in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Which for that money, is just outstanding.
Absolutely outstanding for the quality, yeah. And I know that one of the sticks is going to be the Olmec Claro,
Yeah.
which is Foundation, made at the AJ Fernandez factory. So that's two quality names right there.
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
know it's going to be good. I haven't tried the.
So you know it's good.
you know it's good. But I haven't tried the Claro yet, the Olmec.
Yeah.
But I was told that it's made from one of the sort of like the oldest cultivars of cigar tobacco.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to
We're
that.
stoked for that. Can't wait.
Speaking of that, how have you enjoyed
Do you know, I
that?
was just about to say, so I'm kind of into like almost getting to the last third of this. Do you know what? For the money, I think this is a cracking smoke. So like, yes, in terms of build quality, like there's little bits here and there. It's not quite conical when it drops.
No, it's not burned completely even, as you can see. But and yeah, like I said, the flavour, the leaf is a bit young. There's not a lot of complexity in it. But in terms of like you said, when you're considering the price point for the flavour, it hasn't canoed or anything.
You could easily take this out for
Oh,
an
yeah.
evening, couldn't you? This is a down the pub kind of a smoke without having to be too fussy about
Exactly. It's something you don't have to pay a lot of attention to. It's not something like the Tabernacle where you'd sit down and you'd really want to pay attention to everything that you were tasting and really savour it. This is just something that you could enjoy kind of absent-mindedly with a drink, chatting with people who maybe aren't big cigar people. yeah, another drink, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'm impressed, man. I think for the money, they're great. I have it's something very weird about not having the band at the bottom, so I've moved mine down, but I've kept it on. Pass me your glass, bro, and I'll top you off. But I'm really impressed with these for the money.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, the amount of times that I've purged a cigar and I've lost a bit of eyebrow. you know when it gets shorter, when it gets that last third, and you go,
So you might not have a chip in your tooth, but I tell you what, you'll die with no eyebrows, and that's fine.
A man with half an eyebrow. That's a man.
That's a man. You're a man, my son.
So, Duncan said, great joining you both on your journey through your collection this evening. I'll bid you good night. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah.
Die hard fan. We appreciate you 100%. We love it when you turn up.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, and which kind of leads us on to thanks everybody for dialing on tonight.
Yeah, thank you everybody who joined us.
You. So Harry and I are going to finish the rest of these sticks. We're going to polish off what's left of this bottle of buff.
Yeah.
And get a bit spicy.
Yeah. And it's cooled down now a bit.
Yeah.
I would have rated the heating as oppressive earlier. It's cooled down. It's
minging English summer.
Yeah.
We're never bloody happy.
No, but it has cooled down now. It's pleasant. We're going to have a nice bit of,
Yeah. Smoke up and keep the mozzies off.
Yeah, that's it.
Good stuff.
So,
God bless you all.
Yeah, God bless and thank you for joining us.
See you on the next one.
See you next time. I'm a boomer, you do it, man.